Nearly 80 years ago, Martin Luther King spoke of a dream, a fairy tale, that enchanted millions of Black Americans who were then victim of hatred, legal discrimination, and economic subjugation. The collective efforts of many activists brought forward the Civil Rights Act of 1964, ending a winter in which the Black American had been left out in the cold outside of a house which he helped build. 160 years later, the Black American sits at the bottom of America's racial hierarchy. But why? Perhaps it is that we've yet to deal with the basics of family and finance. The Black American has his rights, has his freedom, hell, he even has Atlanta. What he is missing is a guiding belief system. 160 years later, Negroes are still begging for reparations from the government that sanctioned holding them in chains. 160 years later, the Negro subsists on a crowded island of mental poverty in a time known as the Information Age. I'm here today to dramatize a shameful stagnation. When Martin Luther King, on behalf of a people, wrote the magnificent words of the "I have a dream" speech, we didn't realize that it was a pipe dream. Was the dream of the Black American to be integrated with the whites, or to not be relegated to unending poverty? Martin Luther King, the king of beautiful language and hideously insufficient understanding, sold blacks the idea that if they could attend the same schools as the whites, eat in the same restaurants as the whites, they would be equal to the whites. Dreamy. A people do not become equal. A people do not come out of recent enslavement and find themselves on equal footing with their former enslaver. There is rebuilding that must occur of the mind, of the self-esteem of a people. During MLK's time and today, the black is not equal to the white. Our present comedy is that the current state of white America is quite pitiful. Nothing a wise people should try to be equal to. I will not pretend as though today the black people have the rights and privileges equal to that of the white woman in our society. But what have we done with the rights that we have won? We have integrated schools, yet we choose to sit in the back of the classroom if we even show up. We have the right to vote, yet we only show up in large numbers when white liberals convince us that the sitting president is a white supremacist, as though that makes him unique among American presidents. We have freedom, but we mostly only take the liberty to complain and to blame, and as a result, we suffer more of the same. On average, the state of the Black American reflects not a dream, but a nightmare, a long nightmare that we have not awakened from for 160 years. The truth remains, not systemic racism, nor the environment, nor any other variable is strong enough to deny an upright, disciplined, hardworking people from the great vaults of opportunity of this nation or any other nation. You have freedom today. I have freedom today, but what have we done with that freedom? A black president in the White House did not raise black people out of the poorhouse. A black president in the White House did not keep black people from the crack house. It was Martin Luther King in the 1960s. It was Barack Obama in the 2000s. Still, we put the weight of a people on one Superman. Never again. Everyone must take a stand. We cannot rely on one man. The only way to be equal is to be equal. Civil rights legislation didn't do it. A black president didn't do it. Why exhaust yourselves toiling to change the greater society when the only thing that needs to change for us to make progress is you and I? Let us not be like the educated fools who speak and write and debate and complain and reiterate endlessly about systemic systemic racism, as though we, a minority, control a majority rules system. Wake up, lest you remain in a 160-year nightmare. Now is the time to lift ourselves from the quicksands of self-pity to the solid rock of individual and collective action. The Jews came to this land of opportunity as a scorned people. Now they are rulers in the land, not from marching in the streets, but from marching toward education and meaningful degrees, finance, law, business. We have too many degrees in that which does not pay: gender studies, sociology, African American studies, degrees in how to explain away our current stagnation. This is 2024, not 1724. You are not slaves, lest you are a slave of your own making, slave to your own ignorance, victim of your own lack of self-belief. Let 2024 be the year that you wake up. If today you wake up and find that your dream is far away, there should be neither rest nor tranquility until you have made good on the rights of citizenship our forefathers earned so long ago. Over half a century ago, Martin Luther King spoke of police brutality. The wise Jewish people have their own policing force in their communities. They call it the Shomrim. You can find them in Brooklyn, throughout the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Can we not do this for ourselves? No more dreaming. I have a plan today. Let me make this plain. The primary problem of the Black American is economic. Is there any freedom without finance? Has poverty not been like an everlasting storm over many Black families? Unknowingly, you've waged economic war against yourselves. The Black American was wealthier under segregation. At that time, you were forced to spend among your own. Now, an ignorant people with freedom, you spend your dollar with those who do not love you, never to see those dollars return to your community. And for your ignorance, you blame your economic ills on systemic racism rather than your own enduring ignorance. But let us not wallow in the valley of despair, for I have a plan. I have a plan, I say, for ensuring that one day our people will rise up and be truly proud, for we know who we are, and like the Armenians, we know our history, and that enslavement was a mere blink in the long history of the Black man and woman. I have a plan that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons and daughters of Black nuclear families will sit together with white and Asian children in true equality, not because we say they are equal, but because our children prepare, perform, and achieve at equal levels. I have a plan, I say. I plan for ownership. For a time, our ancestors were owned by enslavers, and today some of you still are. Do you own yourself while you sit in a government jail cell? Do you own yourself? The simple remedy is ownership. Owning yourself, owning the jobs, owning the police force. I have a plan, I say. And to see this plan through, all it takes is intelligent and consistent work. We will be able to hew out of the valley of material lack a stone of hope. With this plan, we will draw on our internal wealth to manifest the material abundance which we have been denied since we arrived on a slave ship named Jesus. Our grandmothers and grandfathers endured the hard part: sit-ins, incarcerations, marching, and protest demonstrations. We must take the liberty of sitting at the front of the classroom. Above all, the plan is for financial freedom, true ownership. So I invite you to work with me in executing this plan so that the dream is not just a dream.